The South China Sea, one of the most heavily contested and militarized waterways on Earth, has once again become the focal point of rising US-China tensions. But this time, it's not a stealth destroyer or a cutting-edge drone making headlines. It's the US Navy's oldest active aircraft carrier, the USS Nimitz CVN-68. Despite nearing retirement after 50 years of service, the USS Nimitz remains deployed in the South China Sea, holding the line for America's freedom of navigation mission. Satellite imagery released this month confirms the legendary supercarrier is still on station, even after a series of alarming incidents involving its aircraft. What's driving this high-stakes deployment? And why is the US risking one of its oldest but most iconic warships in a region teetering on the brink of confrontation? The USS Nimitz, commissioned in 1975, was the largest and most advanced warship of her time. Named after Fleet Admiral Chester W. Nimitz, the legendary commander of the US Pacific Fleet during World War II, this floating airbase has served through 5 decades of global conflict, from the Cold War to the War on Terror, and now into the new era of US-China rivalry. In October 2025, the Nimitz made headlines after not one but 2 major aviation accidents in the South China Sea. A MH-60S Seahawk helicopter and an FA-18E Super Hornet crashed during routine operations both on separate days. Miraculously, all crew members survived, but the back-to-back incidents shocked the Navy community. While the Navy labeled both incidents as operational mishaps, experts say they highlight the extreme operational tempo and mechanical stress these aging vessels face. Yet despite this, the Nimitz never returned home. Instead, she stayed in the theater, still carrying out flight operations, still shadowed by Chinese surveillance ships. According to satellite images published by open-source intelligence groups, the USS Nimitz and Carrier Strike Group 11 were recently spotted about 130 miles southeast of 2nd Thomas Shoal, a flashpoint in the ongoing territorial dispute between China and the Philippines. The shoal, known as Ayungin Shoal in the Philippines and Renai Jiao in China, is part of the Spratly Islands chain, a cluster of reefs, atolls, and rocks claimed by multiple nations. The Philippines currently stations a small detachment of Marines on a grounded World War II-era ship, the BRP Sierra Madre, as a symbolic assertion of sovereignty. China, however, continues to patrol the area with Coast Guard and militia vessels, warning any foreign ship that approaches. Now, with the USS Nimitz operating nearby, tensions have reached new heights. U.S. Indo-Pacific Command confirmed that the carrier is on a scheduled deployment, but emphasized that its presence is meant to demonstrate an unwavering commitment to a free and open Indo-Pacific. But to Beijing, this is seen as a direct challenge. China's Ministry of Defense has repeatedly condemned U.S. carrier operations in what it calls Chinese waters. In a statement issued last week, Chinese officials accused the U.S. of militarizing the region and provoking confrontation. The People's Liberation Army Navy reportedly deployed Type 052D destroyers and a Type 055 Rianhai-class cruiser to monitor the Nimitz strike group. Aerial patrols by Chinese J-16 and KJ-500 aircraft have also increased in the area. Beijing's state-run media went further, describing the Nimitz deployment as an aging symbol of U.S. hegemony and warning that China's modern fleet will ensure the U.S. Navy cannot act with impunity. But for Washington, the Nimitz's continued presence sends a different message. America's resolve is not determined by the age of its ships, but by its commitment to deterrence and alliance defense. At over 1,000 feet long and weighing more than 100,000 tons, the USS Nimitz was once the largest ship ever built. She can carry up to 60 aircraft, including FA-18EF Super Hornets, EA-18G Growlers, and E-2D Hawkeyes. Her steam catapult launch system allows jets to take off in seconds, even in the middle of the ocean. Her defenses include Sea Sparrow missiles, Phalanx CIWS, and electronic countermeasures. For decades, she served as a mobile fortress capable of launching airstrikes, conducting surveillance, and defending entire fleets. But technology has moved on. The Navy's new Ford-class carriers, like the USS Gerald R. Ford CVN-78, boast electromagnetic launch systems EMALS, advanced arresting gear, and power generation capabilities 3 times greater than the Nimitz. Still, experts agree. The Nimitz remains a critical asset, especially when tensions rise and the U.S. needs every available ship in the Pacific. Why keep the Nimitz in the South China Sea now, so close to retirement? Analysts say it's not just about maintaining presence, it's about symbolism. In an era where China is rapidly expanding its navy, the U.S. wants to show that even its oldest ship is capable of holding the line. It's a message of continuity and strength, proof that America's naval legacy still dominates global waters. When the USS Nimitz is finally decommissioned, her role will be passed on to the USS Enterprise CVN-80 and other Ford-class carriers. These next-generation ships will bring digital controls, energy-efficient reactors, and increased sortie capacity capabilities that will define 21st century warfare. But the Nimitz's legacy will endure. Her name, her crew, and her record-breaking 5 decades of service will remain etched in naval history. As the South China Sea continues to simmer, the Nimitz sails not as a relic of the past, but as a living reminder of America's enduring power projection. Her final mission is not just to patrol contested waters, it's to prove that legacy still matters in modern warfare.